Hello everyone. So I'm gonna get right to the point in this video. I fucked up. And you're probably wondering, well, how did I fuck up? Well, if you guys had seen my last video, which I had now privated, because to be honest with you, in that video there was some mistakes I made in that video. Not so much with the message in the video, not so much with the intent, but with the impact in the video. The video I'm talking about is addressing the whole incident with LeafyIsHere when he made a video that was roasting TommyNC2010. Now, a little backstory about this is LeafyIsHere found this individual on Tosh.0, and Tosh.0 is a show on Comedy Central that does nothing but roast people. So, I mean, with that, he thought that it was perfectly okay to do it. And I mean, you know what? Like, it's seems kind of reasonable. And from that regard, anyways, not going to completely defend it, but I'm not going to completely bash it either. But I think at the same time, Tommy knew that with Tosh.0 that it was going to be a roasting, and he knew what he was getting himself into. So he kind of just took things with a pinch of salt, right? But I think the problem with this situation here was that Tommy didn't know that Leafy was just roasting him, for satire and whatnot. And he not only did he take it to heart, but it inadvertently made a bunch of Leafy fans go over to TommyNC2010 and basically send him death threats, like him and his family, which had Tommy in tears. Had him in tears, and he made the video that pretty much made him almost quit YouTube. And I was heartbroken when I seen it, and I was then overcome with a ton of rage. And that's where the first mistake comes in. I let my emotions get the better of me. I'm not going to make any bones about it. I'm not going to make excuses. I fucked up. I fucked up royally, and I'm not going to ask for you guys to forgive me if you guys don't want to. But at the very least, I hope that you guys can find it in yourselves to at least understand where I am coming from then and where I'm coming from now. Because looking back at the video, I was really, really mad. And I felt like that with me being that mad, I was pretty much showcasing the emotion and the reaction to this situation. And, I did that for a reason, to show that, hey, what you did wasn't okay. You didn't make just any ordinary person upset and bawl his eyes out. This person happens to have autism. Now, for those of you guys that don't know what autism is, well, I might suggest that you look it up, because it is surprisingly complex to understand, because there are so many levels of it. There's so many different forms of it in the spectrum. As someone who has been diagnosed with it since I was 4 years old, I've lived with autism, lived with the knowledge of it, but even I can't explain it to the full extent in this video, because I think it would take way too long. It would be completely unnecessary and take away the main point of this video. But when I was diagnosed with autism, I'm just going to give you guys a little backstory here. When I was diagnosed with autism, I didn't really know what it was back then. And I wasn't told about it until I was about maybe 9 or 10 years old. And what ended up happening was I was being mocked and made fun of for it. And, people were calling me things like retarded. People were calling me things like not normal, and would call me autism freak, and just a whole bunch of really derogatory and inappropriate things. Now, see, that was what I was going through in junior high. When I went to high school, it was a completely different ball game. And what I mean by completely different is completely different in a bad way, because what ended up happening was I was being tormented to no end, not just because of my disabilities. No, it was because of how I looked, because of how I spoke, how I dressed, how I wore my hair and all that stuff. And also back then, this was when I was about 120 pounds soaking wet. I was just getting in high school, 16 years old. I was skinny. I would, do like little workouts at home, just, doing push-ups and stuff like that. But I never did any serious working out. Like the size that you see me right now, I'm over 180 pounds. So obviously, clearly, I'm bigger than what I used to be in high school, not being 120 pounds even. And because of that, people were taking advantage of my size too. People found the need to validate themselves and validate their manhood by picking on people that are smaller than themselves, right? And that's where this whole Leafy thing kind of comes into play, because Leafy is a very, very, very popular YouTuber. He's got over 1 million people subscribed to him. So with great power comes great responsibility. Now, I'm not going to say that Leafy is entirely responsible for his fan base and what they do, and I say entirely loosely. Just hear me out. I'm thinking that with the amount of toxicity that some Leafy fans, I'm not going to say all Leafy fans, and by the way, just for the record, I do not hate all Leafy fans. I actually have some Leafy fans that are subscribed to this channel, and they're genuine good people. They stuck up for me through this whole incident where I made the video where I was basically raging and slamming Leafy and his fans for putting poor Tommy through a bunch of hell and back. But looking back, it wasn't entirely Leafy's fault. He made the video to satire, and he didn't intend any major harm on this individual. But obviously, the intent and the impact, completely different. So because of the fact that Leafy is a very big and popular YouTuber, there are people that are going to take influence from what he says and what he does, and possibly mimic it, because a lot of Leafy's fans are children, and children have more impressionable minds than someone of a young adult or an older gentleman. You know what I mean? Speaking from experience, because I was very, very impressionable. I would mimic everything that I thought was cool, and it wasn't, because I just looked like an idiot, right? But because of the fact that there's all these things going on with the bad portion of the Leafy fan base, I think that the part of the responsibility I'm talking about that Leafy should take would be to make a video to address his specific fan base, where he's saying, look, I don't appreciate you guys going around and commenting KYS and thinking that's all cool and edgy, because it's not. Because there's some people that take that shit to heart. You know what I mean? Like, some people that might not know better might not know that it's just whatever. But regardless, under any circumstance, you should never ever tell someone to kill themselves, because it's very disrespectful. It's very disgusting. You know what I mean? So, with that, after he would make the video, hypothetically speaking, and if they chose not to listen, then that would be on them. Leafy did his due diligence. That would be it. And you know what? That's it. Leafy did what he could, and he can't control over 1 million people at the end of the day. Nobody can. Well, except for prime ministers and governments and stuff like that. But that's besides the point. Leafy's not government; he's a YouTuber. And speaking of Leafy, and to the entire fan base that I had went off at and insulted, I would like to extend a sincere and deep apology. Like, I've been thinking about this whole, this entire time, not just at work, but, when I was at the gym, blowing steam off. I'm just like, man, I wasn't a saint in my video defending Tommy either. I was swearing like a sailor, and that's a bad habit of mine. I swear like a sailor. Anybody can attest to it that knows me. That's just the way I am. I try my hardest not to swear, but sometimes it just comes out, and it comes out in droves. But I don't ever mean to do it. But with this, I feel really bad, because I also feel really bad about raising my voice in the video, which, I mean, I did that to prove a point, but it just came out really bad. the point that I was trying to prove was that, this is the kind of reaction you're going to get when you insult people, intentionally or unintentionally. And I pretty much just wanted to showcase it to prove a point. But obviously, it wasn't taken the right way, so it wasn't taken. With that being said, I took action, and I had removed the video from public viewing. And with that, I want to apologize to everyone here that is subscribed. I'm not proud of raising my voice and getting all pissed off. When you're in the heat of the moment, things get said, and I'm not going to make excuses and justify myself, but it's entirely fact. Some people can't control themselves and control what comes out of their mouth when they're pissed off. It's human nature, but not making excuses, and I'm sorry. I hold full accountability and full responsibility for what I have said and what I have done. I just can only hope that for those that are watching this video and are watching it seriously can at least accept and acknowledge that I apologize and can give me a second chance, because that's not what this channel is about. It's not about, having anything clickbaity and, trying to stir up shit by talking about other people's drama. That's not what it is at all. All it was for me responding and me standing up for someone who I felt like was being bullied, and he was being bullied by the toxic portion of Leafy's fans. And again, I say portion because not all of Leafy's fans are like that. As I reiterate, some Leafy fans are actually subscribed to me, and they are genuine. And I love them, and I love everyone that is subscribed here. This channel is meant to be inspiring, and it's meant to just talk about just whatever is whatever's on my mind, whatever I can relate to, and whatever I feel passionate about, and kind of thing, right? And also being able to help people. So with that, again, I am deeply, deeply sorry, very deeply. I've been thinking about it, and just thinking about it just brings tears to my eyes. It's just like, fuck, man. Like, I really messed up, and I can only hope that you can find it in your hearts to forgive me. I hope, and I'm praying. Now, I will say this one thing. It's like, there are people who are going to call out other people for making videos about other people's drama. But that's not necessarily the case. Like, that's not the reason why some people would make videos like that. It's because of the fact that, they're acknowledging and they're giving their 2 cents on this whole thing and putting their own personal spin on it. And yet there's some people out there who make a living off of making videos about other people's drama. I'm just saying, double standards, not cool. But whatever. I can't control it, can't do really anything about it. That's just the way YouTube and society is. Whatever. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, kind of thing I always say. So that pretty much concludes the first portion of the video, which, by the way, I do apologize for, not being edited or whatever. This is supposed to be just raw, unedited, straight up, heart to heart with all of you guys, face to face. Second part of this video is to kind of give you guys a little backstory about me, as I gave you guys a little bit about it in the first portion of the video. One of the biggest reasons why I came to Tommy's aid the way I did and how fast I did is because he suffers through autism. And, as someone who has suffered through it myself, I saw a little bit of me in Tommy when he was going through that, because it was the exact kind of torment, or similar to that effect, that I was going through, with suffering through autism. And by the way, before I carry on, just because you have a disability doesn't make you a weak person. You're just built differently, and there's some strengths and some weaknesses that you have that others don't. And also, depending on the kind of disability you have, you can be more vulnerable or a little bit less self-aware, and people will take advantage of that much easier. Take it from someone who has been through all of that, all through that sort of thing growing up since I was 4 years old. People taking advantage of me left, right, and center. But whatever, I'm actually glad that everything that I went through happened, because it turned me into the kind of person I am today. So, when I was going through high school, I was being seriously, seriously tormented. I've had people accuse me of being gay, even though I'm not. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, even if I was gay, so what? So what? Don't be discriminating against people because they have a preference. And some of my closest friends are in fact either bisexual or gay. But anyways, I was being made fun of, being called faggot, retarded, gay, queer, all that stuff. Some of the really derogatory names. And being made fun of for the way I talked, the way I dressed, my hobbies, everything, my size, pretty much everything you can think of, just everything. And it pretty much drove me to the point where it's just like, I would try so hard to stand up for myself, and it would never ever pan out, because because for one, no one would ever come to my aid. It was always me versus one person, or me versus like a group of people. And the thing of it was, all my tormentors were bigger than me, and they were stronger than me. Whenever I would try and stand up for myself, they would threaten physical violence against me. They would threaten to beat me up. And I was scared, because it's like, you are someone who is bigger than me, and you're someone who you're using your size to take advantage of me, and using whatever, because I wasn't a fighter, and I'm still not. I don't have the heart or stomach for it. But in extreme cases scenario, then that's completely different. Then that's when I have a gruesome side of me that comes out, but that rarely ever comes out. I've never actually had to use that side to defend myself or defend anybody else, but I would if it ever came down to it. The thing is, through high school, I was being tormented and bullied to the point where I developed suicidal thoughts, depression, and I also developed something else. I didn't know what was wrong with me at the time. I know what it is now. It's panic attack and anxiety disorder that I still to this day suffer through. I still suffer through depression. I still suffer through all that stuff. But I'm not the kind of person that I was back in high school as I am now. I am much stronger. In fact, every single time I'm depressed about something, I still have enough strength to deal with that and deal with people and help them out. Who are struggling, who may not be able to help to be able to help them if they're not able to help themselves, kind of thing. It's like, I will carry you on my back until my body breaks, and I'll still find a way to carry you and help you out, kind of thing. That's just the kind of person I am. Give you a boost. But anyways, I would periodically have shortness of breath. I would also be hyperventilating. I would have an extremely high rate for my heartbeat. Like, it would just be beaten as if I drank like 5 cups of coffee. And I didn't drink any caffeinated beverages, so I'm just saying, what the hell is wrong with me? And it would come to the point where I would start, my body would start shaking, start going numb a little bit, and I would start dry heaving and gagging, like almost I'm going to get sick. I thought I was fucking dying. But turns out, it was the fact that I developed depression, and not to mention anxiety and panic attack disorder, which, you couple all that with suicidal thoughts, and couple that with everything that I was going through in high school. Yeah, and also factor in the fact that I was going through my own struggles dealing with my disability. Now, it came to a point where I was being tormented so bad that I had contemplated jumping off the rooftop of my high school. I contemplated it, but obviously I didn't do it. I thought better of it, because I thought to myself, what the hell would my poor sister think, who also suffers through disability? What the hell would my mother think? What the hell would my father think? What would my friends think? It's like, it would be really selfish of me to leave nothing but tragedy on their ends behind. And there was another time I felt like, just taking a nice big kitchen knife and slitting my throat, bleeding out. But I didn't do that. I thought better. And I was thinking to myself, there's got to be some way to deal with this. There's got to be some way. You know, I'm digging deep, and even though I had nothing left, I would still keep on grasping for something, a shred of hope. And I managed to endure. So now you see the kind of person I am today. I am someone who is a hell of a lot stronger than I used to be. And I'm not perfect, you know, obviously speaking from not only what I spoke about in this video, you know, my apologies and all that stuff, but obviously through the video that I had last uploaded, which I had since removed from public viewing because I don't want people to see that kind of shit. I don't want people to think that that's what this channel is all about. But I will say that I will not stop myself if I feel like I need to make a response in something that I feel passionate about. And you can say all you want that, you know, it's clickbaity. Here's the thing. It's not clickbait. It's me giving my 2 cents, giving my opinion, not meaning to bash anybody or whatever, but, you know, if it comes out that way, my apologies. I would make a follow-up video about it, whatever. But if you guys want to chuck the words clickbait around, just look at some of the biggest YouTubers that, you know, have SoFlo Antonio like titles and have thumbnails of, you know, of like people doing stupid things, or, you know, in Leafy's case, having a bunch of thumbnails with children and with people that have visible disorders, you know, eating disorders, mental disorders, whatever. I mean, it says H3 pointed out. I mean, I personally think that he should have talked to Leafy at first about this, but he didn't, which, okay, that's a little bit weird. You could say it's a bit of a dick move to make a video about it, but at the same time, it had to be said, had to be done. And I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it actually, but I agree with Ethan's message, and, you know, I agree with it. So, anyways, with that said, I hope that we all can move forward, you know. Leafy fucked up and he apologized for it. I fucked up and now I'm apologizing for it, so I'm following in Leafy's footsteps here. So, with that being said, I really, really hope that you guys can find it in your heart to forgive me. And I really, really hope that we can all move forward and we can grow this channel and we can, you know, we can all be cool. We can all be friends. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I mean, it's just a 20-some-odd minute video of me rambling and, you know, talking about stuff to you guys. But whatever, if you enjoyed it, then, you know, fire off a like. It'd be much appreciated, and please let me know in the comments section down below, you know, if you guys forgive me. I really hope you guys do. You guys have no idea how bad I feel, you know, with the way that the last video turned out. I was angry, and, you know, even under circumstances like that, you know, there's got to be better ways to present yourself, even though you're royally pissed off. But at the same time, I felt like that with the given incident. I felt like that with me reacting emotionally the way I did it to prove a point, and I did it to get, you know, to showcase the extent of how one can potentially react to things that took place, obviously, with Leafy and Tommy and whatnot. But now things are cool, and I also got to give a big shout out to TommyNC2010, who had hit 100,000 subscribers, or 100,000 Tommy heads, and I'm one of them Tommy heads. And I honestly can say I love his intro. Like, his intro is one of the most, it's one of the most simple but yet creative things. And I love his intro. Subscribe, support, and stay positive. And that's a motto to live by. Stay positive. So with that being said, Tommy, I hope that everything is well with you. And I hope to see you succeed, my man. I hope to see you keep on spreading those positive vibes. Keep on spreading the inspiration, because you, my friend, have inspired me, you know, and it's awesome. So I want to thank you guys very much for watching this video. I do apologize for this being over 20 minutes, but when it comes to me speaking through my heart, you know, I say whatever's on my heart and whatever's on my mind. So thank you guys for watching. I love each and every single one of you, and we'll see each other again. See you guys next upload.